Jack Thunder and the Fragments of Anima, Book 6, Light. Chapter 11, Spring Celebration. Tempest Island was not a friendly place when the sun went down. Spring thunderstorms enveloped the island in a velvet blanket, the only light coming from flashes of lightning in all colors of the rainbow and the slowly setting sun in the distance. But on this particular night, one solitary hut in the Storm Gremlin village buzzed with activity. Jack Thunder had begun his quest almost a year ago when he found Stormbringer inside Mount Tempest. Now, with the help of Buckthorn, Shadowpaws, Snotter, Kirami, Saturn, and of course Frosty and San, he had found all 6 of the Fragments of Anima. Now, he and his crew had everything they needed to make their final push against the Heart of Darkness. The Storm Gremlin knew that it was far from over. He knew that in the coming days, he and his friends would face their biggest challenge yet. But for now, they could all relax and have fun. Snotter, Shadowpaws, and Kirami were sitting at the table, playing a card game. Snotter seemed to be winning, but Kirami clearly had something up her sleeve. Beside them, Buckthorn and Saturn chatted with them. The Reef Siren talked about her life in the Great Barrier Kingdom and all that she'd learned about medicine from her mother, while Saturn listened intently. For someone with so much energy and so many words, he seemed really fascinated with what Buckthorn had to say. Jack Thunder stole a glance at the Valkyrie's crooked, withered wing. Maybe that had something to do with it. "What's wrong, Jackie? You're not joining in?" Jack Thunder turned to see Frosty standing behind him. He sighed. "I'm just tired. It's been a long day." Frosty sat down next to him. "You're thinking about what comes after this, aren't you?" "Yeah, how did you guess?" "Just a feeling. I'm thinking about the same thing." She took a deep breath. "Where's Mr. San?" The Tengu had given the crew quite the fright when he just collapsed after their battle. "He's fine. He went straight to bed," Frosty replied. Jack Thunder smiled. Bed did sound nice right now. "Hey Jack, you want to come and play with us?" Snotter called out to the Storm Gremlin. "I'm about to mop the floor with Kirami." "Not so fast!" Kirami set down a card in her hand. It bore the image of a king bearing her sword. "Gah! You got me again. That's it. You're going down this next round." Snotter gathered all the cards and shuffled them once again. No matter how many rounds they played, she couldn't seem to get the better of Kirami. The Kitsune had beat her every single time. Still, it looked like a lot of fun. Jack Thunder took his seat next to Shadowpaws. Once more, the fairy snail handed out cards to the 4 of them. Jack Thunder smiled as he looked over his hand. Oh yeah, it was on. Jack Thunder stared up at the ceiling above. It had been a very fun night. He couldn't count how many times he'd lost to Kirami. That fox just seemed to have the best luck when it came to card games. Poor Snotter would never give up as long as she continued to lose, and Kirami just wouldn't let her. They had played about 8 times before Jack Thunder decided to throw in the towel. The Storm Gremlin smiled to himself. They would need all the tenacity they could for their final stand. Their last battle flashed before his eyes. The Wendigos had sure gone all out this time. They had actually managed to latch onto him and suck out some of his anima. If Saturn hadn't shown up when he did... Jack Thunder heard a soft chirp beside him. Turning his head, he saw Razor. The little weather wyvern gave him a worried look and licked his cheek. "Don't worry, Razor. I've just got a lot on my mind right now." He stroked Razor's head. The weather wyvern climbed onto Jack Thunder's chest and lay down. Jack Thunder's gaze turned back to the ceiling. His mind trailed to Alteria's spellbook. He still wasn't sure if it would work, but he remembered their conversation on the precipice of Mount Inferno. Heaven's Transformation? That's a very powerful spell. Yeah, I know. Looks like a nightmare to use, too. Magic that powerful usually is. The question is, are you willing to take a chance on it? Jack Thunder rolled over onto his side. Razor rolled off his chest and stood up. making his way to the end of the storm gremlin's bed before curling up once more. Jack Thunder stared at the wall in front of him, watching the light from flashes of lightning dance across his line of vision. It would have lulled him to sleep if he could turn off his brain. A sudden blast of thunder made him bolt upright. He calmed down when he realized it was just the storm outside. He lay back down, sighing. Gah, thought that was a cannon for a second there. Jack Thunder's eyelids drooped, not so much from sleepiness as from fatigue. The most important part of his mission still lay before him, and he was already weary of it. How was he supposed to make the final push like this? How was he supposed to stand up to the heart of darkness when he couldn't even get to sleep? Jack Thunder got up from the bed and made his way to the kitchen. Whenever he was sick or upset, Frosty would always make him some herbal tea to make him feel better, and that was just what he needed right now. Setting the kettle on the stove, he measured out equal portions of dried chamomile and peppermint leaves. When the water was ready, he poured them over the herbs into his favorite mug. A few minutes later, the water had turned a shade of yellow. He took his mug over to the window in the front room just outside the kitchen. Frosty didn't like it when he took food outside the kitchen, but this was an emergency. He would be careful not to spill anything on the floor. It seemed to do the trick. With every sip, his thoughts cleared. His mind drifted to his parents. He was thankful his sister had always been there for him, no doubt. But if their parents had lived, what would they say to him? All his life, he had devoted himself to studying magic. He thought that if he could become a master wizard, he could save someone else from having to go through what he and his sister went through in the war. And maybe, somehow, that would make their mom and dad proud, wherever they were. He finished his final sip. He felt a lot better now. Putting his dishes in the sink, Jack Thunder made his way back to his room. No matter what, he would finish what he started. He would stand up to the heart of darkness with his friends by his side. He wouldn't let his parents' legacy go to waste. Jack Thunder fell asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow. The rain continued to pour outside.